everyone, and welcome to the Crushing Through Life podcast. I'm your host, Rob, and with me is my best friend, Jim.
What up? What up, Robbie?
Today, with our with the quote that we have for you today, is not only I thought pretty inspiring to me, but it all ties down to comfort being the enemy. And here I'll give it to you now. Beware of the monotony. It's the mother of all deadly sins. And that is from Edith Wharton. What a name.
You know what?
No idea who that is.
Oh yeah, no, great work for me to standard stuff.
Standard stuff from classic Edith Wharton. I'll do a quick. She's an American novelist, short story writer, and designer.
The reason that this is a cool quote, I think, is you and I have been a little busy in the last couple of weeks, and just like comfort and not getting back into the rhythm of trying to do this. It's kind of, we're on episode 9, by the way. This is episode 9, but the gap's a little bigger than we thought of. So it's kind of that's all I could think of when you said it was, oh man, it's hitting home with this right now.
100%. I think that is one thing that I personally went through during my my career is a little bit of monotony. Like I technically worked same job with the same type of responsibilities. I think throughout maybe 4 different companies now. Yeah, 4 different companies now. But over the course of 10 years, it becomes monotonous. You're not changing. Nothing's new. So it's all about that comfort is the enemy idea. It's like you got to keep learning something. You got to keep fresh in the game. And for me, it's like constantly studying. Because yeah, dude, you get into this spiral, this funk, and it's like I gotta get out.
Yeah, like I honestly can't imagine, unless you really loved it, but even something that you love, you're still adapting it, you're changing it. Mm-hmm. If you find your dream job if you're lucky enough when you're early, I think you still have to, you still wouldn't be able to do it for like 60 years, like day in, day out. It's at some point in time, like you said, it just gets repetitive, it gets boring. So you got to do something.
Yeah, to make it fresh. Much like all of our listeners listen to this podcast right now.
Oh, well, of course, yeah.
we love our fans, all one of you.
We could have a couple of other, people bored of the same stale podcasts, and they're
exactly. I joke because Jim and I we've recorded 9 episodes so far, and we plan on start to release them publicly on the 10th episode to get a nice backlog of episodes that we can release every week and try to at the same time beat the rush, so to speak, where we can start to
we can build on it.
Yeah, exactly, build on it and then take it from there. So if you are a fan of this podcast in the future, that's great. And I hope you do continue.
But let us know as well. So we're, if you are a fan,
100%.
Because it goes, any feedback goes a long way, I think.
100%. So, dude, thinking about our last episode, I completely failed the 75-day challenge. Unfortunately, I had one stressful day at work, which led to some other things happening. I had issues with my car. I had computer issues with my computer personally and my wife's computer. On top of that, us dealing with the toddler. I had a bit of a pent up day where I unfortunately got weak and ordered some pizza.
Hey, you know what, man? It happens, and the thing is, so when it happened, you'd messaged me and you were like, hey man, this happened. I didn't make it, whatnot. And you said like, I cracked and you got the pizza. And I didn't know that for you meant that, like, cause we were pretty close to the end of the month. Like, what were we in the 20s?
Something like that. Yeah.
Right. So like still one, obviously a while, a third of the month to go, but at the same time, I just thought that that meant that, the next day you were kind of just going to go back at it. I really wasn't sure, right? So I was like, one thing to look at with your, one thing to look at like as a positive is like, you don't fail because you missed one day. And you're like, buddy, I'll be honest with you, I completely gave up after that. And that, that like, first of all, I burst out laughing reading it, but I really like, we're trying to do it to not, to push each other and whatnot. And when you're just blatantly honest like that is really nice. Like again, like we said to each other, like if you're lying, you're just lying to yourself, right? So
Exactly. Yeah, for sure, man.
you know,
If you're just lying to the group saying that you did a workout or whatever, it's like there's no, you're bragging for nobody, right? You're just lying to yourself 100%. So if you do your workout and you stay on top of your challenge, it's really just your own personal tracker where your friends are just there to keep you motivated and engaged to increase that number, right? That daily requirement to get it done. And yeah, actually, now that I think about it, when you said that, for those who don't know, we cut down the 75-day challenge to a month.
yeah,
So
when you said 75-day challenge, I was like,
yeah,
oh
ooh
boy.
boy, ooh boy, I was up for the challenge at the beginning. I was very down for it, and I'll be honest, it was a great spark for me to get back into reading, which
Yeah.
I've been enjoying, which I think is the most thankful part of the challenge that we did. For me personally, it's just getting back into reading. So, um, so
Yeah,
yeah,
let's run through that. So obviously you said you didn't make it. I
yeah,
actually did. I did end up doing it all the whole month. Waited right till the end. But let's run through. So obviously you said the biggest thing for you is reading. What were
yeah,
a couple other takeaways that you enjoyed about it, or that you didn't like? Because like I got a couple too. I'll go.
yeah,
You,
sure.
you you
So
fire away.
reading was definitely number one for me. Obviously, doing the second workout was the most challenging part, but I did like that the workout was required to be outside. So I was outside a lot more. And I focused on that being a great break in my day. I would take my lunch hour, go for a walk, listen to music, whatever, 45 minutes, I'm back in it, and I eat something quick, and I'm back to work. Um, and then after that, it's like, you do your workout after work or you do your workout before work. So it was interesting. I liked the reading. I liked being outside. And I think the third thing for me that was a takeaway was how precious time is.
Oh man.
Oh
So
my God, dude.
yeah.
Like time management is now totally key for me. I've actually, after that challenge happened, I actually talked to my wife because there's a bunch of personal things aside from work that I want to get done, little personal achievement things, whether it's like studying for my next IT certification or work on my YouTube channel or designing a website, blah blah blah. All that stuff requires time, and then I don't have that time after work because I have to focus on family stuff. So just this week, starting Monday, I started waking up at 6 a.m. I woke up at 6 a.m. Monday, and then this morning, unfortunately, I pushed my sleep last night. I woke up at 7:30. So um, I'm trying to wake up earlier when everyone's asleep, and then get all that stuff done and have some more time.
For perspective,
Yeah.
for everyone, what is your normal time? Because like if your normal
Mm.
time is 9 or 10 o'clock, like 7:30, obviously really is still good.
Yeah.
But like, what's your normal wake up time, anyways?
I'm not a morning person. I'm very much a night owl. I will sleep very, very late. I usually go to bed at like 1 a.m. or 2 a.m. and all that. And I'm trying to change that because what I usually do when I go to bed, and I know this is a terrible habit, I'll look at my phone, right? I'll look at my phone, I'll look at Reddit, look at YouTube. I'll watch meaningless videos that, they're interesting on YouTube, but I'll just scroll and scroll and scroll and watch meaningless videos. And or even sometimes I'll do purposeful things where I'll be on Reddit, but I'll research problems that I'm going through for the next day, whether it be personal IT issues I'm having with my computer. Like last week, when I was dealing with my family's IT issues, like I was up to like 1, 2 o'clock because I'm usually the type of person that if there's a problem, I'm like asphyxiated on it until it's fixed, especially if it's a computer problem, because that's like my job.
Right, right.
So I'll stay up late and work on it and work on it, and I'll start to ignore things until it's fixed, which I think is a bad habit for me to have.
It's
But yeah, I'm
tough
trying.
to not
Yeah,
to let go and relax
yeah,
if you feel unaccomplished or like the task is not done. If you can't just put it down for a second and move back, move,
yeah.
like step away, it could be an issue.
Sometimes I'll just sit there for like a couple hours on end working on an IT problem, and I start to fidget and I get nervous. Like even if I have to go to washroom, like I'll hold that back, like something crazy like that, or I'm just like,
Right.
I gotta figure this out, and then I just literally to the point where it's at a max level, and I have to just walk away, go to the washroom, get a drink of water, get a coffee, and come
Yeah.
back, and it's like I come at it with fresh eyes. Sometimes you just have to walk away from a problem and just come back to it because your mind's just not you're not focusing properly, right?
Yeah, exactly. You also like if you never take a break, it's just gonna degrade like even your max thinking and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. But so what were your takeaways from this challenge?
So I think for me it was so the things I didn't like about it were the time, like just doing that. I can't imagine doing that for 75 days.
I know
Honestly,
it's
right?
crazy.
Like that's
Yeah.
it's too many. Like I enjoy just taking time to relax after I do work, but this was like I'm fighting for 20 minutes here or there. Um, um, what I did like was it got me out of um, not reading, like you said. So now I'm back, I've already read a book this year. The last time I read a book was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Whatever the last Game of Thrones book came out, that was the last book I read for sure. So very positive for that. And I think another thing was, I drink a fair amount, let's be honest. And just knowing that I could obviously stop for 31 days. Didn't bother me at all. My hands aren't shaking, anything like that. Like
That's
honestly, I
awesome.
could have gone longer. I think as you approach the finish line, like you want everything more and more and more to like
Yeah.
make you crack. But like had you told me the finish line was 75 days, I'd been like, okay, it's no problem. Like, I didn't it was so easy because I don't leave the house.
Hmm.
If it was the summer and you could go to a patio and or you're like you're up at someone's cottage on the dock having beers and
Yeah.
someone just like cracks one and he hands it to you and you're like, oh sorry, I'm not drinking for the next 75 days. Like that could be a little more challenging to say no to, right? But
Right.
like this honestly was not too challenging because there's um, no peer pressure at all, just like from your friends, nothing like that, right? And
Hmm.
um, I think we're at an age too where that's not really super common, anyways. But like if you're out, like picture going out and watching, I don't know, hockey or something, because hockey was on a weird time this summer. And like
Yeah.
everyone's ordering beer and it gets to, and you're like, I'll have a water or something. Like it would just, and people do it all the time, but I never have. And I think because of that, I'd get looks and be like, what's wrong with this guy?
Yeah.
But anyway, so important, honestly, an important check mark to me that I could just stop at any point.
Right.
Um, and the reading was big, and I think the other one was, a personal goal for myself this year is I want to be able to not be such a useless moron in the kitchen. And already this year, I've cooked probably more than in the last decade. Um, I'm learning how to do stuff. I'm being adventurous. It's been a lot of fun. Jess and I are doing it together for the most part. She kind of just watches over my shoulder, and I actually do everything. I'm just such a hands-on learner
Yeah.
that if she takes over for a second, the next time I'll be like, oh, I don't know how to do that because Jess did it. So like I need to do every step myself.
Hmm.
And that was another huge plus. Obviously, I didn't eat fast food for the entire month, so another thing that I could just do without. So no fast food and no alcohol is a huge personal gain. Just mentally feel really good, really strong. And I guess another bad thing is like with the two workouts, I actually messed up my wrist pretty good. So
Oh, how'd you
other
do
than
that?
I honestly don't know. I think probably from working out, and I can't even put like if I go into a push-up position, I cannot have my wrist like that. If I'm getting up from the chair, that hurts.
Oh shit.
So
Has it
I
recovered yet?
no, and it's been about since before the month started. So like my
Oh,
whole month was very much legs and kind of core, and no sort of upper body strength. And that was pretty frustrating. I really didn't want to push it. I've never pushed myself, as much at home, like on my own will. So I'm proud of myself for that. But
yeah.
just want to make sure I didn't make anything worse was the main concern. So I tried to wait, but it's been about since Christmas. So like it's been 6 weeks. So I called the doctor last week. Um, he got me some sheet, and I can go and get a. Oh, I'm going to go this week. I'm going to walk to the doctor and get an X-ray, and I think they got to take blood and
Oh
maybe an
wow.
ultrasound. But it's concerning enough that I'm going to go in, but
Yeah.
because I'm always a person that waits till.
Yeah. I mean, like that story that I told you it was a few episodes ago with the bachelor party where I just like definitely tore a tendon and it took
Yeah.
months to heal, and I should have gone way earlier, and I was like, I got a desk job, whatever, I'll just let it heal.
I mean, me too, right? Like, what
Yeah.
am I doing now?
Yeah.
I don't do anything. I'm kind of curious if it's like, maybe with the mouse, like I've never been on a computer so much,
Right.
but there's just no way. I mean, I hope not anyway. So, kind of concerned, but again, I guess, unfortunately getting older. So, people listening and they're like, wow, he's 32, he's complaining about his age, shut up. But, um, at the same time, it's the peak. This is as old as I've ever been,
Nice.
and it's I guess the weakest I've ever been, and I'm not used to like I was always the kind of guy that was just like it'll just heal on its own, and I've always kind of had that
Yeah.
down. And now maybe seeing recovery time slow down a little bit, and
So, because of this challenge, a lot of positive things are happening mentally in your head. You've discovered you have this amazing willpower, obviously, to cut back alcohol without affecting you. You're reading more, you're cooking more, you're getting a lot of knowledge, and at the same time, um, you're learning that you need to go to the doctor when you're hurt. You're not just being a baby and not
yeah,
going.
it's been quite a learning
It's
experience the
great,
last.
man. These are all great things. So what an awesome challenge that we both went through, that we both thought we failed at. I mean, obviously I failed at, but we both thought that maybe we did poorly, and we all came out for the better.
Yeah, and I mean, I think like, I don't know, like you said, I just learned so much about myself. The weird part is, I've told other people though that we were doing this, and they're like, "Oh, Ed, do you have so much energy now? Do you have all this?" I'm like, "No, I'm dead tired every day. Like I don't have a second to spare. Like I'm going to bed." So one thing that you mentioned about going to bed kind of late, then you're on Reddit on your phone and you're reading this and you're scrolling. One thing that the last month helped me with was getting into the routine of spending 20 minutes or whatever it is, half an hour before bed and reading and it's just like putting my phone down. I set my alarm and I don't touch it.
Right.
Like the book is the last thing. It's very calming. It's relaxing. I put it down when I'm done, turn the light off, and I just go to sleep. I don't look at my phone until the morning. And it does. I mean, I think it helped me kind of like disconnect and shut off, but um, and that could just be like, me telling myself, oh, like well done.
You're like me though. You have this FOMO, right? You have that FOMO of like whether you're gonna miss the group text, you're gonna miss the notification from Facebook,
So
whatever news hot piece is happening.
you are 100% correct on that. So I say this as in like, I put my phone down, I don't touch it. But if I get one message from like a group chat and it pops up, it's game over. I'm like, where was I on the page? I don't even, was I reading? I don't know. Because then
Right.
it's not like if you respond in the group chat, then it's one message turns into like 4 or 5. Then you're laughing. You're looking for some picture that was relevant 4 years ago to bring up because it would be hilarious. It would be a hilarious joke for the timing. And then by the time I'm like, I don't care about this reading stuff. Like,
Right.
it pulls you out. So I try to put it on do not disturb, but I mean, again, I have, like you said, I have the FOMO, and you're exactly. It is. It's really tough to just.
It's addicting. It's an addiction.
What's going on out there?
Right.
I gotta know.
You gotta know.
I gots to know.
Yeah, but it's definitely a serious. I think it's a serious addiction, right? Like you need to sleep. You're procrastinating your sleep. Your body's going to be worse for it if you don't go to sleep. I'm one to preach. I do the same thing. Like I definitely need to correct that. And I just thought of something that you just said, which I think I will start to implement this week and next week and see how that goes. Is reading my book, because I've been trying to find time to read my book, whether it's in the lunch hour or if it's like in the morning. But at nighttime is great. Go to bed, even before you lie down in bed, finish all your notifications, set the alarm, turn that off, read your book, don't even touch your phone, and just fall asleep.
It's tough not to, man, like for sure. But I was able to do it like a fair amount of time the last month, and
sorry, go ahead.
No, you fight.
I was gonna say, even like it's a mental thing too. Like, look at this. I'm looking at my phone right now. It's on my desk. It's blinking at me. I got 5 notifications. I have WhatsApp, 2 Facebooks, 2 emails, and 3 emails from work. Right? And my brain's like, right away.
When was the last time you checked it? Like
are you like just me? Before we started this podcast, before I hit record.
was it all even before? Like,
yeah, it was like there was nothing.
Okay, so because basically, like for me too, I hate it. Like if I get the one little flag on Facebook,
yeah,
and it's like
I got it.
I'm like, I gotta know what that was, right? So that's why I asked, when was the last time? So same with me. Like I got a text, but I honestly turned my phone upside down until you said I just wanted to check. But because I like, again, that will distract me. And honestly, between all the group chats I'm in, you and I are the majority of like pushing the envelope for the FOMO. So I'm already talking to you anyways. I know nothing good's going on.
Thanks, man. I appreciate
the rest of those bums.
It's funny that you said about the one notification on Facebook, because last week I think it was like 2 days ago, I had the one notification on Facebook, but it was a bug where I already checked. It was actually my Messengers application, like the Messengers part of Facebook, not the regular notification. Where like I was chatting with my friend, and I finished the chat. There was nothing marked unread before we started the chat, but when we finished the chat, there was one unread message. I go back into his message. Everything is read. Usually, even when you open up the conversation, it marks it as read.
Yeah.
Back out of the chat. The number 1 is still there. It's driving me nuts. Like, it's driving me crazy. All of my chats are read. And I have one unread message, and I can't find it. I have no idea what to do. I ended up actually deleting his conversation on Facebook Messenger. It got to that level, I swear to God. I deleted the entire conversation, like, since Facebook started, because it was like, it doesn't matter anyway. And I think after 5 minutes it went away. And I'm like, and then that drove me even more crazy. I was like, what? I read everything.
Man, I've done that before, and I debate deleting the app altogether. It's like, this just isn't worth it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Like I see, my wife, for instance, I don't know how she does it. I look at her phone; it's a mess. She's got 2,000 emails unread. Like,
no, I can't.
2,000?
Can't do it.
I guess like the thing is, once it gets to a point, it's laughable because you can't read them all.
Right.
So if you're in control of it, it kind of makes sense, right? But when I don't know, like for me, I just don't like seeing. I like a nice clean setup, nice clean phone. I don't want any, like I notice when things are out of line. Like if somebody came in and moved one of my apps around, I could tell you which app it was. Like,
man, my home screen on my phone, it's like everything's categorized, like video, food, like all in neat little folders. Like it's all proper.
Nice.
Calendar, to-do list, and that's it.
When I was younger, I guess my mom, like, I would be hanging out in my room, whatever, and I'd come back one day after school, sometime, or playing hockey, playing soccer, going out at a friend's place, and I'd come back and my room would be clean. And the thing is, like, I had a mess of a room, but it was an organized mess. I knew where stuff was. And my mom would clean it. I'd be like, "Where did you put this?" And she wouldn't know because it's like, item A is no different. It's no more special than anything else.
Right.
But that's how I am with my phone. So it's like someone else might look at it and be like, "What is this jumbled mess you have?" But
Mhm.
I could tell you where everything is. And that's the same like when I was a kid with my room. Like I'm just still kind of like that with other things. Like I know where I put stuff because it just makes sense where I put it, even if it doesn't make sense that I use that spot. Like when I get home, I would always leave my wallet in the same spot. And if my wallet's not there, I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know." But it might not make sense to other people to put my wallet there.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
That makes sense.
Um, Man, I'm just thinking about the unread mess emails. So every time I finish work, I want to make sure my mailbox is 100% on, like everything, like there's zero unread messages. But if there's stuff that gets left over till tomorrow, then I'll leave it. I have done that in the past, but yeah, usually I like to leave everything unread.
So what I struggle,
I've seen coworkers that's got like 2, 3, 4,000 unread messages, and I'm just like, oh god. Ow.
well, see, with work, like a personal one, fine, but with work, like if I didn't read 4,000 emails, I wouldn't have a job. Like people are trying to contact me
Yeah.
apparently 4,000 times, and I'm like, I can't be bothered. Um, so it's pretty nuts with that. I think the work aspect of my ability to put things aside,
Mhm.
like I was kind of saying about you and a task, especially a computer related task. With work, what I'm doing now is once it's after a certain time, I don't really want it to check because I keep getting more and more involved outside of work. And
Mm.
it takes away from like I work all day so that I don't have to work. Like if
Yeah.
you think about what you actually, you work so that you can eat, you have a home, you can have some sort of entertainment, something that brings you joy. You can experience those moments of downtime with your family. And if you're just getting stressed and worried about them while you're in that downtime, like it's just, I feel like it's a bad cycle. So I really try and separate time. And we've talked about this before. When it's after work, I want to be with Jess. So like I don't want to have to be her like, oh, what's the matter, and I'm getting annoyed about something, or like I'm trying to explain this to someone and it's not getting through, and I really want to, I can't put work down is what I'm saying.
Mhm.
And and that kind of stress is just not something that I want after a certain time. So what I struggle with is seeing that I get an email or something and it's after work, and I want to check it because really it doesn't take long to check it. And honestly, my job is to like put people's priorities first. But I do want to just not be exploited by you know saying that I'm available 24/7. If that
That's
makes sense.
great. That's fantastic, man. You're taking your personal time, and at the same time, you're setting up boundaries, right? I think everyone
Boundary is the word I was looking for.
yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's funny. My wife just posted something on Facebook about boundaries that I thought was very interesting. I'll bring it up as I'm talking, but um, you're setting up boundaries for your personal time, and I think that's absolutely fantastic. You really need to take care of that because you're taking care of yourself as well at the same time.
Right. Like yeah, and that's the thing, right? It's that's the mental side of like my work during the day, is probably like anybody else's. But I think where work can start to stress you out and drive, like, it's not during the hours of work for me. It's outside of it where I'm like, oh man, this, I really got to make sure this gets done. I got to do this. I got to do that. And I think about it when I'm not at work. And when I'm at work, I'm thinking about the stuff I want to do when I'm not at work. And then during that time, I'm thinking about work. So, it's kind of a weird cycle that I go through, right? And I want to get away from that. The thing is, like, my job is pretty important that I do respond to these people. So, if I do come and check it out and I'll allow myself later some time. I think, I've mentioned on this podcast before that I play poker on the side, and a personal goal for me this year was to spend a lot of hours really studying and getting better at the game and understanding more the theory of it, And when I'm up here in my office kind of doing that, I'll check out work and I'll just make sure everything's fine. It takes no time to respond to certain people at that time, and I got no problem doing that. But it's like when we're doing dinner and something urgent comes up, like that's where I guess it's like, this is the one time of the day I'm making food with my wife, where the only time we're really doing something together, and I don't want to be disturbed during that. Boundaries.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I'm trying to find this quote that she posted, but it was in relation to like setting boundaries for sure, but not apologizing for setting boundaries. Like you're respecting yourself because that's your time. Um, Boundaries are not meant to control others; they are meant to be used as guidelines for you to know what is acceptable and what is not in your life. I don't know if that's necessarily the one that she posted. I can't find it. Anyway,
I
yeah,
mean,
but that's good that you're really,
that's a good quote, anyways.
yeah, for sure, for sure. Just in general, like and people are also apologetic, right? And when they're setting boundaries, you want to make sure that you're setting boundaries in a proper way, that you're respecting yourself, right?
Right.
You don't want to say like I don't know, oh sorry, we're eating dinner right now, or we're sorry it's after work. It's like, no, it's we're eating dinner right now. I'll get back to you after, and that's it. Like that type of vibe
Yeah.
going for in that quote. So, well, this has been a good episode. 40 minutes in. I think we can cut her here. Did you have anything else to talk about?
No, I mean, like I said, pretty happy with the crazy month. You've actually already passed me since then in terms of total workouts. I do actually plan on going for a walk after this. Like, actually, you know
Nice.
what? I want to kind of jump on that.
Yeah, sure.
What was really cool about my challenge was, maybe I'll ask this with you because, it's really cool. I always get to see videos of your son, and like you guys are such a unit. That you get, like what you post on social media. It's really cool. I feel like if I didn't know you guys and I was just an outsider, I feel like I would know you and your family. Um, you're all very lovable. Like I feel like I get an honest sense of what you portray
Thank you.
on online. And so what I was going to say is what was very positive about me doing this challenge for the month was that Jess didn't eat fast food.
Mm.
Jess didn't have any alcohol. I mean, she's not a big drinker, anyways. She went. I went out for at least a walk near the end of the month. I started running, which I haven't ran in years, and doing it in the cold was kind of tough. I think, like on the lungs, but so she was walking with me every day. So everything that I did, she did too. Like, she was even trying to get out something that she could read, and looking for that we could read together in bed before, and we both shut off our phones. So
Cool.
it wasn't just me doing it. She also did that. Did you guys did you see any sort of, positive effects on your house, on you and the family?
Yeah, I mean, for number, I mean, the number one thing was my son. My son's 3 years old, and he's working out with me, so it's all about that role modeling, right? I actually feel sorry for some couples out there because I think that a lot of people depend on each other, even if they're in a relationship where they want to start something positive in their life, whether it's like they work out or they want to start a diet or they want to read or whatever. And they get defeated, right, when the other couple might be negative or they don't want to join them, and they don't want to do it anymore, where really you should just ignore all that, focus on yourself, invite them in. But if they don't want to be invited or they don't want to join you, that's it. That's all you can do. You done the work. Start what you want to do. That's going to be the positive change, and they'll either follow, they'll see the positive changes and they'll follow and join you, or they'll just continue to be set on their ways. Whether that's bad or good, I don't know. But I've talked to people that have had that issue in their relationship. But that's great that you guys are doing it together, and that you've seen some positive changes. Yeah, but yeah, for me, like it's my kid, like oh, he's like, oh, daddy's doing workouts, and he'll do jumping jacks beside me, and he'll do push-ups beside me, and whatever.
I saw him doing the burpees.
The burpees, yeah. Oh yeah.
Right. So, and that's what I mean when I said, like, you guys are so genuine
Yeah.
on what you post, that I could assume that the answer was going to be yes to my question,
Yeah.
but because I feel like if it happened, I would have seen it. It's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, sorry to cut you off. But yeah,
No, it's okay. I just like, yeah, if he was here right now, I told him to do 10 burpees, he'd do it. It's fun to him. It's like a game.
amazing.
He's actually obsessed with I think he knows, but he's obsessed with timer apps and like timer and time and calculator apps. He's got like 15 timer apps on a phone, and he's currently obsessed with fitness timers where like it's intermittent, like do jumping jacks and it beeps at you and then it cuts down and then it goes through another time and all that, and he yells the exercise. He's not actually doing it, he's just on the couch like reading the timer and what comes up, but it's just find that hilarious.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
It's funny. I remember, you hear from your parents later, like, yeah, you were really into this when you were young, or you did this. Apparently I used to walk around the house because we would watch Hockey Night Again every Saturday night, and Montreal was playing. A lot of the time we'd hear French announcers, and for some reason when I was young, I could really I would just repeat what was on the TV, I guess. And I used to walk around the house saying Stéphane Richer, and my mom said that was like my favorite player and all this stuff, and I couldn't even tell you who he was. I just heard the name a lot. But it's funny, like, and you think, because you just pick up information so quickly when you're younger. So it's really cool to see him, be super into time and math, and because like I wish I was better at math. Like I think I'm actually still pretty good, but obviously you get out of practice. So when I say I'm good at math, like I can do addition, like multiplication. It's not crazy in my head, but I wish I was better at it. Like I have one friend that I do trivia with, and his mental math is insane. And I feel like that's kind of the direction that your son is going. So it's pretty cool to watch him be like honestly pretty smart, because I went to high school with people. I swear he's already smarter than that.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that. I mean, I owe a lot to my wife, and she's a great mother, a great teacher. I think he's got a little bit of my technical mindset for sure. But yeah, he's just a happy kid, great attitude. And I think for the most part, I mean, this goes into a little bit of parenting, but for the most part, my wife did teach me a lot about like how to talk, basically, literally how to talk to a toddler and have them understand you, and how to not talk to a toddler in a negative tone where they don't understand you, where you're just yelling at them and they have no idea why you're yelling at them, and
Right.
there's no like positive buildup, right, from that back and forth and all that. I mean, this is a whole nother topic, but yeah,
I'd like to get into that another time.
I do owe a lot of credit to her for teaching me some good things about that.
Yeah, that's really cool. So like obviously that's what my mom does for a living, so like that'd be another topic for another time, but let's not forget about that. Maybe write that one down.
Yeah, for sure. All right, buddy. I think we'll end it here. I gotta start hitting the sack here. Get ready for that 6 a.m. wake up.
Yeah, with your bedtime, you only have 5 hours before you're asleep.
Yeah, tell me about it.
All right, man.
All right, buddy. Take care. Have a good one.
Yep, great as always.
All right, bye.